It is something so beautiful when you find a man who is a single father raising their children. So when we found this man is a single father now raising the children, we embraced him and we said we are going to support him. When we were leaving the homestead, we found the neighbors blocking our way. And then the neighbors were like, no, don't go before you help that home. We told them we have already helped them. Then we were like, what's the problem? And then they were like, why can't you help the small girl, the big girl, the firstborn? Then we were like, what's the problem with the firstborn? They don't want to say. This small one that could not walk was weighing 3 kilos at 8 kilos at 3 years. The one who was 5 years was weighing 11 kilos. The one who was being molested was weighing 19 kilos. I was almost taking them to a children's home. But one thing that really held me back is the craving, the mother craving that these kids had. They had a very big craving for a mother figure.
A warm welcome to a hot seat of my confession. As always, I'm your host, Jail Msumba, and today I'm celebrating as well featuring a heroine who took a vast step to save children from the father who had sexually abused them. And today we are getting her story. Gladys.
Yes.
Thanks so much for creating time for us.
Yes.
Kindly introduce yourself and give us the story.
Okay. My name is Gladys Wanjiku. I am a single mother of one teenage girl who is in Form 2. And currently now I have become a foster parent to 3 girls that I rescued from Korogocho slums in the year 2020 when COVID hit our country. Yeah.
I understand there is a story behind your passion and zeal of protecting the minors.
Yeah.
Kindly give us the story.
My passion for doing the work that I do in the slum came about when I was young. When I was in high school, in Form 3, I dropped out of school for lack of school fees, and I stayed out of school for 7 years. In those 7 years, part of it, I worked as a house girl, and then I got married and got a baby, and I still felt that I needed to go back to school, but I didn't have the money and the resources to help me go back to school. So I remember I saved for 1 year after starting a kibanda business in Dandora. And the little money that I saved was only able to cater for the school fees that term only, my uniforms and my books. So when I went back, I didn't know how to continue up to Form 4. And by this time I was going back to Form 2. I was already 26 years, actually used to be age mate with my teachers. I was married and I was breastfeeding my baby by then. And God came through in a big way because I got well-wishers who came to our school. That one touched me in a big way. And I remember I promised God, one day when you bless me, I will want to bless another child just like the way these people have blessed me. They don't know me. Actually, they don't even know my second name, but they have come through for me in a big way. Up now, I'm going to clear my Form 4. So I finished Form 4 and I passed my exam very well. I was able to join University of Nairobi through, again, a non-air fundraising, because I didn't have money to join the university. But one of the motivational speakers who had visited our school when I was in Form 4 came and told me that now that I don't have money to go to University of Nairobi, we are going to do an on-air fundraising through a vernacular radio station that he was going to. And people responded very well. I got money to pay for the first semester. And from then now I applied help, which has helped me through the university. I graduated and I got a job then. And I remembered my promise to God that when you give me a good job, just as those people came through for me, I want to come through for another child. So at that time, I needed to purely deal with somebody I don't know. And I went to the slum, that is Korogocho slum. I started the activities there. And I brought together a few of my friends. We formed a WhatsApp group. And actually we agreed we shall be now contributing money from our pocket. We help pay school fees for these kids. We mentor them and just be there for them and be like their support system, which has really been very rewarding because the school where we sponsor these kids in the year 2019 was recorded as the year they did their KCPE exam without any girl pregnant or married. So the mentorship program had really picked on very well. But now, unfortunately, 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic came in our country and everything came to a stop. And that's now when I came to meet these 3 girls that I rescued from their father who was molesting them. And I met them when we were called upon to do voluntary work in the slum, because by that time there was no movement. The president had given the presidential directive, no social gathering. Then there is this team of well-wishers. The team we were working with is called Team Pankaj, a team of Asians. So they used to distribute food in the slum in trucks. The only thing they were requesting is for young people who are free to come and help carry the hampers to the very interior where the vehicle cannot go. So because we are at home and we are not going at work, I decided let me go and volunteer. So one day we are going to distribute the food, and we came across this home where we entered, and the first thing that we saw is a sewage. You know, like this is the house, and like barely like 20 or 30 meters is a toilet, a latrine that is so full, it's actually overflowing. The sewage is coming up to the door. This family had put sacks of soil at the doorstep to prevent the sewage from coming in, meaning that when these girls are coming from the house, the first thing they interact with is this sewage, and then they go. What really touched us was this small girl. There was one very small girl, and she couldn't walk, so she was crawling. So when her sisters are not there to like carry her and help her through the sewage, she would literally like crawl through. Sewage. Yeah, that one really touched us in a very big way. And we asked that guy, the man, how comes you are just alone with these kids? There are 3 girls, 8 years, 5 years, and 3. So he told us that their mother was in the slum. There is this changa wanakunywa sana huko. Kasema mama yao ni mlevi wa changa, alitoka na akaenda akaniachia watoto. So we were like, this man is a good man. Because let me tell you, Jael, I always tell people, you see, like I give an example with myself and many other single mothers. It's not news to find a woman, single mother, raising their children. But it is something so beautiful when you find a man who is a single father raising their children. So when we found this man is a single father now raising the children, we embraced him and we said we are going to support him. We were supposed to be giving 1 hamper per house. So we decided this house, we shall be contributing from our pocket. We come more often, we give them food. So in the process now we became friends to the family, would come time and again to check on the children. The children had now become our friends. They would look forward to our visits. And I remember one day now we sat down as a group, because we used to work as a group. And we agreed now, because we might also run out of finances, because remember we are also not going to work. Economically times are very tough. So we agreed, how about if we contribute and give this father some capital to help raise his children, so that even if we don't bring food, they have some food for themselves. And we agreed that's a good idea. So on the day we went to share the business idea with the father is the day now when everything changed. Because we sat down with him for hours, we discussed with him our idea, he embraced it, and actually he told us, come tomorrow, I'll have thought of which business I can do. We told him, we already have the money, you just think over through the night, we shall come tomorrow. When we were leaving the homestead, we found the neighbors blocking our way. And then the neighbors were like, no, don't go before you help that home. We told them we have already helped them. We came with food, and then this guy, we have told him to think of a business idea. We are going to
boost him.
Yes, we want to boost him and start up a business for him. But those ladies were like, no, they need a bigger help. Then we were like, what's the problem? And then they were like, why can't you help the small girl, the big girl, the firstborn? Then we were like, what's the problem with the firstborn? They don't want to say. So they are wanaambiana we sema. So one of them gained the courage, and actually is the one who broke the news to us. And she told us, this girl, as you are seeing her, she has become her father's wife. Her father's wife, every day that guy sleeps with this girl.
How old was the girl?
She was 8 years. 8 years. And actually when now we were told that story, she could not even walk properly. It was so painful. Actually, it is pain that made her tell the neighbors what she has been going through, because the father has been threatening her. So when we were told that, everybody now was so angry and they wanted to take action. But we told them, no, wait a minute. Let us now take this girl to the hospital so that the doctor can confirm the news. We took the girl to the hospital, and the doctor did the medical examination and wrote a medical report that yes, this girl has been defiled, and not once. Actually, the doctor wrote it is a regular thing, that the girl is even no longer a virgin. You know, she's a little damaged on her front and back and all that. So after we got that doctor's report, now we went with it to the police station. The police read through the report. And one thing I loved about our system is that, you see, even when we took them to the hospital, we shall tell the doctors what happened, but the doctors would take the girl, put her in a room, and talk to her to speak her mind independently as they write. When we went to the police station, they took the girl independently to listen to her story and write. So everything the girl was speaking was just in line. Whatever she told us, whatever she told the doctor, whatever she told the police officer, all of it were in line. She was not mincing her words. So the police now concluded this is a defilement case. So we are going to pick the guy and arrest him. We went to his home at night. I remember it was around 11:30 p.m. and the guy was arrested, and he was put in. And it is at night, and we have these girls with us because now they are just in the car. By this time, the one who is the small one doesn't talk. So she's peeing herself in the car. They are vomiting. The car is messed up, you know. And now it's at night, and now everybody now starts asking, so now what happens to the girls? Where will they go? Watalala wapi? Watakula wapi? And me, just the mother in me rose up very fast. I told them, just put them back in the car. I'll go with them to my home. I know there'll be food for them tonight. So I went with them to my home, and I didn't have a long-term plan for the girls. Me, I thought they're just going to spend the night. Tomorrow we shall know what to do with them. So when we got into my doorstep, the first thing, we removed all their clothes, took them to the shower, bathed them, and because we didn't have the baby clothes, we put them big t-shirts, big sweaters, and big socks for the night. And that is how we spent our first night. The following day, my friend called Waithera, brought us some baby clothes, and we had something to push us through. So that's now how we started the journey with the girls, and we started now living day by day. My daughter, Abigail, came to love them so much. They started bonding and becoming very close to each other. Actually, she started calling them baby sisters. But then I realized one thing. When they were so new in my house, these two small ones, I would hear them when they are playing outside there. They are calling, Mama, Mama, Mama. And then I'm like, me, I'm not playing with them. Who are they calling Mama? Then I go and ask them, who is Mama? And then they point to the big girl. The girl was now the victim.
Already get used to that.
Yes.
Big girl to be their mother.
Yeah, because now they don't have a mother. This girl was cooking for them, washing for them, doing all the motherly duties to them, and at night she's the wife to the mzee. So I was like, wow, okay, now how do I handle this? Before I digest how to handle that, this big one, she doesn't have anyone to call Mama. So one day, as I'm seated, she comes and approaches me. And then she very politely asked, Mama Abi, wewe ni mama ya Abi peke yake, ama pia mimi naweza nikakuita mam?
Very painful.
Nikamwambia ni sawa, unaweza niita mam. That girl ran out to the sisters. Kambia, now I'll be calling Mama Abi my mom. And she was so happy and she was so excited. And from then they started now calling me mom and all that. And we started the journey with them.
Before you proceed, Gladys, because you know this is a very sad, touching story.
Yeah.
And being that the condition that you got this child in,
Yeah.
it was a bit emotional.
Yeah.
You know, taking through those ladies, the two children from one process to the other. I know it is very hectic.
Yeah.
How did you first take I need that picture when you are trying to bring those children back to life.
Yeah.
How was the process?
It was a very bad situation, because I remember when I picked them, this small one that could not walk was weighing 3 kilos at 8 kilos at 3 years. The one who was 5 years was weighing 11 kilos. The one who was being molested was weighing 19 kilos, the 8 years old one. So I would lift the 3 of them like this and feel like I'm not lifting anything. So that's the state they came into our house. Then immediately they came to our house, because of that change of environment, they all became sick. All of them, the 3 of them. Then I took them to the hospital. They were given medication, and part of it was the dewormers. The dewormers did things I have never seen, because now when they took the dewormers, the worms would come out full, like whole. It would not digest like the way we are used. So one day we would realize when they are playing, it is itchy. They would scrub themselves, and then they would drop them on the way as they are playing, on the carpet, in the house, all over. Until now we got to a point where we could make fun. We would say, that's another one, and then we would skip like this in the house and sweep them and put them in the toilet. But what really shocked me was this little girl that was not able to talk. We had put her on diapers, because she was messing up the house, messing up the carpet. She's not able to say, I want to pee. We put her on diapers. So one day we are removing the diapers, and then we see it's full of a heap of pink things. And then we are like, now what is this? Actually, I called the doctor and I told the doctor, the intestines are coming out. The doctor, yeah, it's very scary. So the doctor told me, those are worms. Come for another dose. So I went for another dose. I gave them. That's now when the worms cleared. Now we started leaving them. When this girl we took them to the hospital, she was given the PrEP's medication. This PrEP's medication is supposed to be taken for 28 days and a very good diet. So the doctor instructed me, you have to feed the girl very well. Those medications are very big and they are many. So we would give the girl until sometimes she would feel like vomiting, because the tablets are big and her throat is tiny. Now at some point we started crushing the medicine. Would crush them to become a powder, and then I'll give her in form of the powder. And we now concentrated on feeding them so well, so that this girl can be able to keep up with the medication. Now at that time, the pressure from external pressure had become too much. Friends, everybody saying, no, it is COVID-19 time, economically times are hard, you are a single mother, just take the girls to the children's home. But I'm telling you, Jael, I was also at the verge of taking them to the children's home, because I remember one day I told my house manager, when I buy 1 packet of milk, you divide it twice. We cook it today and tomorrow, regardless of how the tea will look like, so that at least we are able to keep afloat. So by looking at how things are, I was almost taking them to a children's home. But one thing that really held me back is the craving, the mother craving that these kids had. They had a very big craving for a mother figure. At times they would refuse to sleep into their room. They come and sleep into my bedroom, and before they fall asleep, I hold all the 3 of them like this. They feel secure, then now they can sleep, then now I can let them now sleep like that. So they had a very high craving for a mother figure, and I really felt deep within me that this is one thing that will make me not want to take them to a children's home. Let them stay with us a little bit. But then again, at some point, now I became so financially drained and emotionally drained, because now even people are not understanding me, friends are not understanding me. I've lost friends, family, and thinking I'm also running crazy. How are you increasing your family at this time, and you don't have somebody else helping you. So at that time, I remember I wrote to one of our bishop friends called Bishop Jane, and I told her, please, because these girls, I love them so much, help me know a godly children home that I can take them. And she told me, get ready, I'm coming. And we prepared their bags and we set everything ready. Then Bishop Jane came. Immediately she entered my house, she started crying. And we got into the house, she told me, please tell me this story so that I can get it very well. I started narrating the story. After that, she told me, Gladys, I am sorry to disappoint you. because I have heard a voice from God. These girls are not going anywhere. They are in their home. God has told me to tell you they are in their home. I know I told you to get their bags ready. I take you, but I'm now out of this. God has already spoken. Number 2, God has heard your prayers. You've already been saying, God visit me, God visit me. Now God has visited your home in his Trinity. God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. And that is why the girls are 3. That's why you are seeing 3 girls. And then she told me, finally, there are so many people who will be blessed through these kids. If you hide them in the children's home, you'll be accountable before God as
and
to
then
why
you also miss your blessings.
Many missed their blessings. And she told me, I'm not going to force you to stay with them, but let me not be the one to take you to the children's home. Find another person. Prayerfully digest upon what I've told you. That's how we cancelled the idea of taking them to the children's home. It has not been easy, Jael. Remember, one interesting scenario that happened, we even joke about it today, is how the girls would fall from the bed at night.
I know.
You see, these girls, they are traumatized. Number 1, we are bearing with all of them now peeing in bed. You can imagine 3 kids peeing on bed every night. And we are used to staying in a clean house because my girl is big, so we stay in a clean house. So now every day you have to put the beddings out to dry because they have peed. And then they would fall from bed at night until we formed the night shift. Me, my house manager, and my daughter. These girls are used to sleeping on the floor in the slum. So they roll however they want. So when they sleep on bed, they forget they're on bed. They roll and fall. So in the middle of the night, we'd go find them down, pick them up, put them back on bed. It was so funny. Now we put 2 hours shift. After 2 hours, you go and check, you put them back. Until now, you see the way the bed is, the length is like this. Now we decided this has become too much. They are going to be sleeping across the bed. So when they roll, they just roll like this, and then they don't fall down. But nowadays, they never fall down again because now they have become big and transformed. And beautiful. I've been with them since the year 2020. This girl had never been taken to school. Even the 8 years was not taken to school. At 8 years, she could not count 1 to 20. At 8 years, she could not say A to Z. That really shocked me. And I remember during that school break, during the COVID time, I talked to a friend of mine called Teacher Lydia. And I told Teacher Lydia, I have got some special kids in my house. Please help me to tutor them, to have the basics. And she came and she was very kind. Teacher Lydia is the one who was helping them how to hold a pen. At 8 years, we were being taught how to hold a pen. So they learned the basics. By the time now the schools opened, they were able to go to school, and I took them to school.
Gladys, I would like to understand now. I need you to give me a brief picture of this revelation. Now you've taken this young girl to a psychologist, because I know a lot happened, and she had to relieve the pain. What weird things did you come to learn during that process?
One of the things, and I really appreciate the counseling sessions, and I would advise people never ignore or assume the power of the counseling sessions, because that is what has helped me with the girl. One day I took her to the counseling session because I would not also, at some point I would not understand her because she would behave in a way I'm not able to understand. And I took her to the counselor. I explained the behaviors to the counselor because now when I am in the house, that girl is very obedient and very good. When I leave, everybody complains. Oh, she doesn't listen. She wants to be the one commanding people and all that and all that. When I came back, she becomes a good girl. So I asked the counselor, why is that switch? And then the counselor told me, you are dealing with a child who is parentified. So when you are in the house, her subconscious mind tells her the senior mom is in the house, so she submits. When you leave, the subconscious mind tells the mother in her to come out, and she's the one to take over and command everybody. So when she's commanding everybody, she messes up with people along the way. So now the counselor helped me now to work with her, help her now to come back from being parentified to becoming a child, because her childhood, of course, had been stolen away. And it has been quite a journey. Another thing that counseling really helped with this, my girl, is there's one session we went, and it was a forgiveness session. And the counselor was trying to explain to her, yes, your father has done this, but God requires us to forgive and all that and all that. And then this girl was asked, what do you think needs to be done to Daddy because of what he did to you? And he said, Daddy needs to be beaten until he can feel the pain I felt.
She heard that bitter bitterness.
She was crying. I was so shocked. She was crying. Now she could understand what was being done to her. So the counselor took a big teddy bear with some canes. She gave the canes to the girl and told her, this teddy bear now is Daddy. Can you cane Daddy until he feels pain like you felt pain? And tell him what you want. So the girl was beating Daddy. Baba, kwa nini ulifanya hivyo? Sini vibaya. Utarudia. And she was beating. The canes got broken up. She was given others until now she was like, hey. Now Daddy has felt the pain I wanted him to feel. And now she was like, but now it has been a walk. It hasn't been all smooth. For the 2 years, we have been on and off the counseling session. And I was told that now that is her lifestyle. Anytime I notice a weird behavior, I rush her to the counseling. Every time I realize something not adding up, I take her to the counseling session.
Gladys, you mentioned about her father being arrested.
Yeah.
And I understand you told me that the verdict was made last week.
Yeah.
I want you to, just because of time, you'll have to brief us.
Yeah.
Was the father remorseful, and how were the session during the hearing? Did he try to at least confirm that he really defiled the kid?
No. The father did not confess and was not remorseful. Actually, the magistrate, before giving the final judgment, asked him whether he has anything to say. And when he was given that chance to say anything that he wants to say, he only told the magistrate, please remember, I am the one who takes care of my mother in the village. And then the magistrate asked, do you have anything else to say? He said no. I think indirectly the magistrate wanted him to show remorse and all that, but he didn't. So when the magistrate now was doing the final judgment, she actually noted, the court has noted that you are not remorseful for the action that you did. So he was not remorseful, and now he has been put behind bars for 20 years. And that means now the girls are in my hands for the next 20 years. I'm praying God for the grace, because as I told you, I'm a single mother. Now I was a single mother of one, now I have become a single mother of four. That means forgoing most of my dreams, forgoing most of my plans, because even marital plans, you know, when I was a single mother of one, you'd say, one day I'll get married. Yeah. Now you are a single mother of four. Sasa ni utulie ulee watoto, unless Mungu afanye miujiza yake.
God will bless you. So I would like to understand, Gladys, I know, being that the verdict was made, what was the reaction of the children?
When the verdict was made, these girls, I have cultivated an open way of communicating with them. So we have got that culture of where we speak freely, we speak about everything and openly. So I came back home and I told them, no, Daddy has been taken somewhere called jail for 20 years. Of course, they can't understand a lot, so you break it down to the bits that they are able to understand. But what shocked me, I told them, now you know, by the time Daddy will be coming out, you'll be big girls, you'll be adults. And you might want to reconcile and go back as a family. So, nataka tuanze kujifunza about forgiveness. We forgive Daddy. We forgive Daddy and let him go. You know, they reacted in a way I didn't expect, especially the small one. I know we were around the table, and the small one did like this. Oh, mi siwezi msamehea.
You can imagine.
The small one really shocked me. Then I was like, kwa nini usisamehe Daddy? And she was like, si akae huko, akae na huko na mapolisi, huko ndio kwao. Kamuza, kwani ni makosa gani baba alifanya? Akasema si baba alikuwa anaenda anakunywa pombe na anakataa kutupeleka shule. So the little two knows that bit. Daddy was drunk all the time and could not take us to school. They don't understand this defilement part. The defilement part is only the big girl who understands. So them, they know their dad has been jailed for 20 years for not taking them to school. But you can tell they're still bitter. And I decided I'm not going to rush them. I'm going to walk with them this journey bit by bit. Given that jail, one big miracle that God has done is giving me a very big support system through my own daughter, Abigail. You know, I have raised her for 14 years, being the only child. And then she so warmly welcomes these other 3 girls to share her house, share her belongings, share her space, share her mother, and she loves them to bits. So that's a big miracle. So even now that the man will be behind bars for 20 years, I feel I have a support system through my daughter. Because even if I wanted to support them and my daughter was resistant, I would not do it. And I always say, I feel like my daughter here is the heroine. Like she loves them more than I do. I remember there is one day it was so tough, Jael. Finances and things are hard. And I remember I told my daughter, it was in the morning when she was going to school. I told my daughter, these girls, we are going to take them to the village to be staying with grandma because grandma has all the time to look after them. Then we shall be sending grandma school fees and money for food. I remember that morning because in my thinking, I was thinking my daughter will be like, hey, now we shall go back to our life, how we used to stay with mommy, and she gets excited and all that. Shock on me. You know, I told her, and then she was like, Mom, let me pray about it. Then I allowed her go to school. Day 1, day 2, day 3, she's not giving me feedback. So day 4, I asked her, Abigail, what did you decide? And then she told me, Mommy, you know, I'm afraid to tell you because you'll be angry. And then I told her, why should I be angry? She told me, because when I prayed, God told me to ask you a question. If you have ever taken me to school in the village at my grandmother's place.
How will you feel?
And if you have never taken me to my grandmother's place, why wouldn't you sacrifice for my sisters the way you sacrificed for me? You know, that is coming from my daughter.
It's touching.
At a time when I'm feeling I just need her consent like this. And the next day, we are on our way to the village. And that's how I cancelled the plans for the girls to go to the village. And I told God, they are going to stay with us. You will know what you are going to eat. You will know how they will go to school. You will know how you are going to provide. Yeah.
Gladys, we are wrapping up because of time.
Yeah.
And I would like you to send a word to mothers.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'll go for mothers. What would you tell them, especially when they're in a marriage and they feel like they want to step out and they have children?
Yeah.
What kind of advice can you give to them?
Yeah. Me, what I can say to mothers, if you are in a toxic marriage or in a marriage that is not working and you really feel that you need to go and find peace elsewhere, please don't leave your children behind. Cases of sexual assault has become rampant. And it is not only girls, even boys. We hear of where boys are being sodomized. So let us prioritize our kids. Go with them wherever you go. God will provide. You will eat, you will sleep. But at least even if you sleep outside in the corridor, you know you have protected your girls. Because you can imagine those girls, I know you will meet them one day, Jael. They are super brilliant. They are cute and very sharp mind. I look at them and I'm like, look at the mind that the devil wanted to spoil.
You can imagine.
And you can imagine how many more kids are going through what these are going through. So I would encourage mothers, it is better you seek help for food, for money for food, money for school fees when you have your kids safe than leaving your kids behind, suffering.
Yeah. Gladys, I know probably there might be people who will want to chip in, especially for the good work that you're doing to the entire Korokocho family and the adopted kids. How can people get you?
People can get me. You can go to my Facebook page. My Facebook name is First Lady. First Lady as one word, Glado. First Lady Glado, that is my own timeline page. And we also have a page for the feeding program, because now through these kids we thought of many other kids who are staying hungry in the slum, and they are also on medication. So we started a feeding program in the slum where today we are feeding 500 every day, 500 kids every day. So we have a page for that. It is called Blessed to Transform.
Thanks so much, Gladys. Thanks for creating time for us. And we will always pray for you for God to keep giving that good heart to take care of those girls.
And before I forget, Jael, at this time when you are in election time, I want to pass a very short message to my fellow Kenyans. Let us not think of the tribe and the regions and all that. Because these girls that I'm helping, me, I am a Kikuyu, they are Luyas. But me, I don't see Luya kids. I see kids. So I appeal to Kenyans, if we can embrace each other as fellow Kenyans, not as this tribe, this tribe, this tribe, especially at this election time. Let us finish that tribal thing and embrace each other as Kenyans.
Well said.
Yeah.
And I believe each and every Kenyans will have to follow that route.
Yeah.
For my good viewers, I believe whoever will be watching, kindly try to support Gladys, because you've heard the strength she has got. And for more stories, stay tuned. As always, I'm your host, Jael Msumba. Bye-bye.